You know what? Let's switch gears here, because one of the things where your expertise lies is in the concept of endurance training. And I want to bring up the idea of endurance training because it opens up a nice discussion on what people are doing versus what we think they should be. So I'll start it off with this, and I've said this before. When we talk about endurance training, I don't know when it happened in history, but there used to be a lot of emphasis on, long distance, low energy output type endurance. And then for whatever reason, and this is by no way a scientifically driven change, because if it was, I would have felt it, having always read the science on this topic. But there was a switch in the ether such that endurance training just became high intense interval training.
Right.
Okay. Can you speak to that, or you need more of a question? I'm not the only one who feels this, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, this is what you see. You see these very strange, empty claims that high intensity training. So if I call it HIIT, there's two types of HIIT: high intensity interval training, and then there's that 1 rep max. So I'm talking about interval training conditioning. People will claim that that gives you everything that long duration, low intensity conditioning does, and it gives you more, and it does it in a shorter amount of time. So you just have to do some Tabata intervals for 20 minutes, and that's going to give you the same adaptations that something like 1 hour of low intensity work would give you. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. It doesn't do that. I don't know why it turned to that. My hunch is that it's a lack of understanding the species that we are. So maybe it's a lack of knowledge in evolutionary biology, but people are forgetting the species that we are. Everything from an evolutionary standpoint tells us that we are an endurance species. Everything from our past. We're not strong. We're not fast. We're not powerful. We're very clumsy. We have poor stability due to being bipedal animals. We can be topped over, very simple. So you have all of that.
Especially now we're just soft, squishy things.
We are very soft and squishy. So you take something, when we moved from being a quadrupedal animal to a bipedal animal, that gave us a lot of good selective tools. In that, when you're bipedal, you spend less energy than being a four-legged animal and moving upon the earth with 4 legs. That costs a higher currency, and that currency is calories. So that's going to cost you more calories. Also, being a quadrupedal animal, the sun hits you more. So therefore, you absorb more of the sun. And now we are naked apes. We don't have fur, and that's also advantageous to our species. When you're four-legged and you have fur, you're spending more energy, you're absorbing more sun, and now with that fur, you don't have this awesome thing called sweat glands. So Homo sapien has millions and millions of sweat glands so that we can cool our body down. We're actually the only mammal that can run a marathon in heat. No other mammal can do this. And that takes you back to how we used to hunt as persistence hunters. We would out-endure animals that could absolutely kick our ass. They were more powerful, stronger, but we could work cooperatively. So that's another feature of us as a species. We can work all together. I mean, the fact that we can sit in a big arena and watch a sporting event with thousands and thousands of people and not sit there and murder each other is a pretty special thing. So we are cooperative. Now, being bipedal, we spend less energy. We're able to sweat and cool our body down. And then how we actually breathe benefits us too. So we can breathe through our nose, and why you get that mucus when you go for a run and someone's getting all snotty. Well, now as you exhale, that actually lubricates the air that you're going to suck back in so that your lungs don't dry out. We have overdeveloped lungs. I think the only other animal is a pronghorn, an antelope, that have overdeveloped lungs, which is why both of us species, a pronghorn and a Homo sapien, are badass runners. The pronghorn can run super fast and not as long as sapien, but that's another feature of why we are what we are, and shows us that we are endurance animals. And we're fat. We're the fattest of all primates. Even a very skinny endurance athlete, they can store up to like 2,000 calories of glycogen, so sugar in their body, but they can store up to 100,000 calories of fat. So we actually have copious amounts of currency that we can pull from to move our bodies at a low intensity to hunt that animal, move all day. That's a lot of fat even for just a skinny person. Just all of these features, you look at all of the features in our anatomy and our physiology, continually points to we are an endurance species. Even look at our feet. We have the ability to flatten that arch. Everything on us shows us that we're an endurance species. But then I think strength coaches, they look at the demands of a particular sport, and that's as far as they look. They just look, oh, wow, this is a strength and power sport, so we should only train strength and power. But they're forgetting completely about the fundamentals of the species and having a good platform to build off of, and that is having a good, finely tuned aerobic system. So if you have a good, finely tuned aerobic system, you can utilize more of your anaerobic energy even better. You don't even have to tap into that anaerobic energy as much because your body is so finely tuned aerobically that you can use something like fat at higher intensities than should be thought of. So if you're a strength and power athlete, you would think you're only going after glycogen, but that's not true. Your body's going to go after fat stores too. And the more that you teach your body how to go after fat stores, and that requires lower intensity training, the better and more efficient you can do that. So you can see when strength coaches say that endurance training is going to make them slow, I can't fathom why someone would say that. If you look at who just broke that marathon record, it wasn't a legit race. That was Kipchoge. I hope I'm saying his name right, but he did a sub 2-hour marathon. So you're telling me that a sub 2-minute marathon, which is like a 4-minute something mile, so a 4-minute mile, that is not slow. I can't even run a single mile at a 4-minute pace. That is shockingly fast. So no, it doesn't make you slow. If you only did slow training, you wouldn't be as fast, but we're not saying that. Like, we're not saying, oh, just stop, don't ever sprint again. Don't ever do plyos again. Don't ever do speed work. We've never said that. We're not saying that. Funny enough, that is how many people interpret it, because if you look at some of the posts that I've done over the last few years about trying to highlight more, bring more of the aerobic training back into someone's program design, many people, I would say, in I'm speaking on a 5-zone heart rate system, because there's so many different heart rate training systems, but the classic 5-zone. I was trying to get people to do more zone 1, zone 2 work, a lot of zone 2 work, this low intensity work. But many people heard that as only do zone 2 work. So now everyone's announcing every workout they do, I'm doing my zone 2 work, I'm doing my zone 2 work. Wish people would stop, by the way, telling me what they're doing in their training. Like, just go enjoy your training. You don't have to tell me what zone you're in.
You didn't do it if you didn't post it, brother.
Yeah. But people took that as, oh, Dewey is anti-high intensity. Never said that. Come train with me and you will see that I do a lot of intervals.
Dude, people think that I only care about my joints and their ranges of motion. Like,
right?
It's amazing how as soon as you focus on one topic, how people think that that's the only thing you're able to focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never lifted a weight before. I have no idea about Olympic lifting or powerlifting because you just do this one thing.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange. But I mean, I think all of that has to stem from not understanding the species that you're training.